Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Advanced Wars Daisy Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the north side as the blue Waylon. We got Nini. I don't know why I have trouble saying that every single time. Spawn on bottom left side as the red Brenner. We've got yukikaze. Kaze? No idea. Brenner has been nerfed from the cartridge counterpart, has standing boarding cost, 3 radius, only 1 expansion at fully maxed out 60. Then of course another max energy is 60 of course. All direct units get plus 10, plus 30. And of course for superpower, get 3 health recovery. Waylon's of course been buffed from the cartridge counterpart, has a reduced 30% boarding cost, with a radius of 2, 30, 60, 60. All units get the plus 10, plus 10. All units get additional plus 20% offense, plus 40% defense, totaling up to 30, 50. And for a superpower, all air units get additional plus 300% defense. So let's go ahead and get started. This map is a 3 base map 1. Airport is somewhat forward, which means potentially it could be missiled. Comm towers in the middle diagonal, contestable. Both players use off a gunboat. A lot of shores here to travel. Of course, both players do start out with a 0 fuel recon next to the HQ. Just infantry at the moment, of course. Brenner has 4,000 income, so maybe bike infantry this turn. Bike infantry. Waylon has 6,000 this turn, so you could go for bike infantry. Maybe going for bike here. There will be a slow going exiting. A lot of rough terrain there. Infantry, and bike up here. Bike, infantry, and infantry. Triple infantry this turn by Waylon, so seeing 3,000 monies with 11,000 incomes, which means he will have 14,000, so go for battlecopter and then have 4,000 funds left over. So no airport yet, never mind. I'm choosing players having airport by now, so he's probably gonna go for a tank next turn. Do you have a tank to put down here by Brenner? Maybe probably gonna seal it to next turn. Tank there. Mech up here. And infantry. Brenner start catching with this airport. Yep, starting to catch the airport there. Waylon's a couple turns behind. And triple infantry there by Brenner. Seals the tank, of course, leaving 2,000 monies left over. Anti-air. Infantry, and anti-air. Before even the airport gets captured, goes for anti-air. So that anti-air needs to go screaming down towards the airport, hit infantry all along the way. It's the infantry unit there, we got a tank. And got this tank up north. He could use a gunboat to try to block some movement, though there's a lot of shores there to traverse around the gunboat. Apparently the gunboat doesn't have gun, who would expect. It has torpedoes, no guns on gunboat. Very anti-Second Amendment, I would say. Brenner could interrupt the capture of the airport. We'll receive a strike there from the mech. Does get a shot on the mech, but it was an even trade. Which means it also was in favor of the infantry units, since it's cheaper. You sit there in the infantry unit there, up 11 energy. Mech could be loading the gunboat and traverse to get over here. And we do have a battlecopter now. Waylon's anti-air is getting closer. Waylon's up to 30 energy. Mech hits tank. Of course, the extra defense is very useful. Drops the mech off on that same mountain. And both players have not captured the column tower, even touched it. So, that's so equal. Tank, medium tank, and infantry. Gets shot there. Gunboat's down to 39 fuel. Of course, it has 1 ammo. Tank, infantry, and tank. Does get a good strike there on that tank. And got an infantry, medium tank, and mech. So, 2 medium tanks by Waylon, so a heavy number of them. Has not been able to capture up this airport. Brenner's tank here has took a bit of damage. Granted, his superpower can help repair his own tank. In fact, pulling back some of these tanks here, like this 3-off tank, could be nice because he's pretty close to his superpower, just needs 8 more energy. Waylon probably should keep units away from the CO zone to make sure he doesn't get that set 8 energy. Gunboat has 30 fuel. Problem is, dropping out the mech there means it can be struck by this infantry unit there if he wants to interrupt the capture of the airport. Probably should have maybe dropped it off right here on top of the forest. Tank, infantry, and artillery. And does not interrupt the capture before it starts capturing. Infantry, tank, and tank. Trying to flip the airport, at least keep it occupied. And that tank is in range of the artillery. It may be across the sea, or a river, pond, what do you want to call that little channel of water? Channel, let's go with that. The command tank will take a shelling, however it is on top of 4, so 3 defense stars. Mech is probably capturing up the HQ now. Got an 8 here. Another medium tank and, of course, another infantry unit there. Gunboat needs to fall back to seaport. Turn for that property there. Waylon has 21,000 for 20,000, so pretty even there. Does not enter the capture there. But still, looks like there's still some despicable neutral properties, like this one here, this in the corner. And the property that's a difference, making it odd. I'm not sure where that one is at the moment. It's actually probably this property right there, since it's captured on both sides like that. Got a good core of tanks here by Waylon. Got 22,000 comes 20. And deletes the mech rather than capture the HQ. He really does not want the superpower there. That is Oof. That's gotta be painful. He still doesn't have the airport, and he deletes that mech just to prevent the superpower. Because it's not with the health recovery and the plus 30% global. That was a painful delete I expected. Of course, it would have been started capturing up next turn. At most, he's basically losing out 1,000 income to give his opponent a superpower because, after all, he would strike it, kill it off, and then occupy it. It's probably the best call to do that. Painful, yes. Now the superpower available for Brenner. Waylon's pretty close to his own superpower. No battle copter utilizes, so it'd be effectively a +10/+10 global. Not great. But he is catching this airport down here. Waylon's turn, 110 versus 116. Waylon's slightly ahead. Mean Tank's getting some good work done. This Mean Tank's starting to run low on ammo and fuel. Does explode itself. Gotta make sure it can't leave units wounded for Brenner's superpower. Gets shot there. Does take out the battlecopter. Does not take out the infantry, but at least gets it pretty wounded. And here comes Brenner's superpower. His own tank's actually getting low on fuel as well. Let's see, it goes from 92,000. Oh, he's not popping superpower just yet, trying to get some damage on his own unit. So 92,000 is the number to check up on. Taking some shots there, like that. That stuff will get recovered at an 87. Start at 92. $87, 92. 101. So it gets at least 10% health recovery across the board, or fund value. Tank, infantry, and anti-air. Waylon has 103 at the moment, so day-to-day funds will make him relatively even. He has 23,000 volts, so he could go for a bomber this turn. His opponent does not have any anti-air on the field. So battlecopters and bombers would be very nice. Oh, no, he does have an anti-air down here, where the airport is. Could deploy a missile to lock down the airport. That is a possibility. Battlecopter. Maybe he could have done that something a little bit sooner. Infantry, tank, and mech. Instead of 119, Brenner's also 104. Brenner also has 28,000 funds in the bank, so he can go for some expensive options. Battlecopter. Infantry, anti-air, and tank. Another battlecopter. Getting some good hits over here, and tank pushes way forward to the forest. Good hits there. And mech, tank, and mech. It's the tank there. Battlecopter. Good hits there, hit some infantry units. Keeping a number of those units alive. He has his superpower available again, so keep the wounded units alive is a good idea. The free recons are still alive both sides. Of course, this one should be at maximum health for a consolation prize. Tank, mech, and anti-air. Waylon could pop a superpower if he wants to charge in with his battlecopters. Pops the superpowers, charging for the battlecopters, not mentioning plus 10 plus 10 global. Miss out a bit of firepower up here. Plus 10 global is much more nicer than you expect. Nothing too significant, but it is actually pretty nice. Battlecopter, infantry, anti-air, and mech. Of course, with the plus 300% defense, it's hard even for anti-airs to take out these battlecopters. They took a decent hit. A 3 damage decent hit. Pops the superpower. The front lines are still smashed in together. 135 versus 112. That's still pretty even after day-to-day funds. He's on medium tank. Of course, he does have to deal with an extra defense this turn. Guess there's a hit for that. Get some great shots there. Medium tank down 2 ammo. It's also maximum veterancy. Getting some good amount of energy here. 42 energy. Of course, he does have to be careful of the anti-airs in the region. Mech, tank, holds back the battlecopter to a safe location. He can deploy an aircraft on the airfield with the superpower active. Those lose 2 battlecopters there. Good strike there. 1 health tank pulls back. Maximum efficiency. Gets a shot there in the anti-tank. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, and tank. Does get some good shots there. Gunboat push forward from the mech. I got an A tier. Tank, infantry, and anti-air. No more seal unit on the field for Waylon though. Could seal this tank here. It'd be an 8 health tank. Battlecopter may need to push forward, interrupt the catch of this airport. And the 4 health infantry unit could take out the comm tower capture. Tank is want to head down more down south. Brenner has his CO power available once again. There's a good number of wounded units to utilize that for it. Waylon still has these medium tanks on the field, but they're pretty wounded. 3 and 2 health. They of course will be repaired up. He's going to spend a lot of repairs. 13,000 after 20,000 income. Interrupts the capture there, interrupts the capture there. Anti-air's in range of the battlecopter. It does feel like Waylon's in the back foot. But this is a pretty good counterattack. Takes out the battlecopter, he takes the wounded battlecopter so it doesn't get recovered. Because right now, and value-wise, Waylon is ahead by about a turn. Infantry, and tank. Hits the battlecopter there, hits the tank there. It's medium tank. tank mech. No CO power by Brenner last turn. Hits the anti-air, trying to free up that airport. This battlecraft is still in a spot to cause an issue, but does get fully surrounded. Pulls back the anti-tank. He has CO'd artillery. Currently has 0 energy though. Waylon reforms the battle line. Infantry, tank, and tank. 113 versus 118, so pretty even. Could heal up the stuff down here, but that stuff is effectively dead either way. Pulls back the units just to just pull it back to pass his health recovery. If he wants to access the airport, he has to remove the infantry there. Maybe ready to go for the anti-air. Oh, you will lose a tank either way, so probably clear up the airport. And 4 health anti-air can't pose a huge threat to an air unit. Here's a battlecopter. Interrupts the capture, stops the capture, hits the tank, in-range the artillery, hits the tank hits artillery. And this medium tank will be fully restored next turn. Artillery does remove that unit there. 6,000. Artillery. Spending a lot of funds on day-to-day repairs, and the battlecopter finds opportunity to advance. Oof. That was a pretty good battlecopter strike. There's nothing in this region to stop the battlecopter mode. He has to pull out anti-air up here next turn. Very good battlecopter strike. This may be what wins the game for Brenner. They're still pretty even in the center, honestly. But this... There's a battlecopter strike strafing your backline. Brenner's also capturing some properties over here. 23 versus 21. He could trap the battlecopter as well. He will. Hits the anti-air. Anti-air infantry tank. And he's going to have 130,000, 139, so he's only slightly behind. But he has full health maximum veterancy tank, medium tank. The other one's being healed up quite nicely. Artillery took another hit. Might as well just merge into the CO artillery at that point. Maybe stop by a city, get 3 health, and then join. And become 1. Infantry, medium tank, and regular tank. Here's the battlecopter there. Getting some good strikes. Just have that tank there. Of course, medium tank's in range of the medium tank. This regular tank there has a CO power available. Just needed to displace the anti-air in order to utilize it. In fact, he could, if he gets something squeezed out there, the CO power could help him withstand any anti-air counterattack. And right now, Brenner has a pretty good core of medium tanks. 6 medium tanks are all full health on the field, though no veterancy, of course. Waylon does have anti-tank artillery to provide cover for fire support for his current front line. Hits artillery. Trying to go for the airport capture. Stays out of range of the anti-tank. 7. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 8. Interrupts the capture. Fully stops the capture. It is surrounded. No anti-air or missile in range. Can't afford a bomber. Battlecopter. He has a CO power available, so that thing could Actuality, this battlecopter could park itself on the bridge and be a roadblock. Thanks to its superpower. 154 versus 148. Waylon's slightly ahead. We've got a very good core of medium tanks with a superpower to boot. It feels like Brenner's in a good position, but he's not guaranteed to win at the moment. He is pushing for his medium tanks though. And he is seeing range out of all the artillery, barring this one. It's going to be shelled twice. Or maybe thrice. Twice. Or it could be thrice. This got shelled twice. This one's actually in range of another medium tank as well. Gets good hits there. Medium tank strikes a medium tank. Max veterancy tanks get some good shots there. Throws more tanks in that one. Knocks out before getting restored by the superpower. Excellent turn there by Waylon. He has 190 or 19. Not enough for a bomber by 500 funds. I was trying to say. Anti-air could strike the mech, right? Does not. Probably wants to avoid the medium tank. Tank, infantry. Brenner may need to pop his superpower this turn, honestly. Take some strikes, get some recovery. Battlecopter. Looks like he's not going to be doing that though this turn. Hits the anti-tank, which is very nice. Does get some hits there. Maybe warranted for superpower. Pop superpower, answer of 148. Force gets global defense. Waylon may want to take this turn slow with the global defense. Get some good hits there on that medium tank. Battlecopter, infantry. Infantry, artillery. Insert 146 versus 119 has a clear advantage of Brenner now. Check that one there. Hits the medium tank here. Medium tank goes down. Anti-tank is at 2 ammo. Brenner's at 28 energy. Another battlecopter snuck the back line. Waylon could go for a missile lockdown the airport. Whoops. Battlecopter, artillery, infantry, and tank. Waylon's been leaving this flank a little bit too open. And Brenner's doing some great work back there. Does not take out the anti-air. The extra defense come in handy. And does block the bridge. Brenner's at 36 energy. Battlecopter. I think these battlecopters are starting to cause issues. Brenner needs another anti-air over here. As well as with something to displace a maximum efficiency tank. Surrounds the medium tank. Can be set free with a battlecopter. Or could just straight up take a shot against the artillery. Infantry, and infantry. This regular tank there hits the max veteran tank. I think Waylon's veterancy is really pulling, giving him the edge he really needed. Brenner didn't have many veteran units. Waylon's been maintaining maximum veterancy in multiple of these units, such as the medium tanks. Though he's starting to lose some of the units entirely now. Does free the medium tank. And there's still a sizable force here. Another battlecopter, he needs anti-air. Takes out that regular tank there. Takes out the anti-air, or battlecopter. Pulls back the maximum veterancy tank. Pops the superpower, so he has +10/+10 global. Not to mention the extra defenses battlecopters, which, like I said, he can leave these battlecopters on the bridge just to cause a roadblock issue, like that. And anti-air won't take out this one, nor will take out the 5 health one, even though it is in range. Anti-air up here. Another battlecopter, mech, and anti-air. Does not take out that battlecopter. And Brenner has resigned. An excellent comeback there by Waylon. This Angrade saying, "Thank you for watching," and on to next replay.